Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 41 of the podcast, the Everton Motor Racing Podcast. I hope you have enjoyed your week. We are back again with another guest, as you can tell, and I'm joined again by Jacob.
Yep, sorry guys, I'm still here.
Yeah, still here. And with 41, Jacob, so who's that? Which rider's that?
Well, the true GOAT, Alicia Spargaro.
Your favourite rider, I believe.
Yeah, I do love his leash, I gotta be honest.
Yeah,
he's a good boy.
I can't believe. Yeah, and we've got a guest on today. We haven't got a guest, sorry. We've got a new podcast host as well.
Hey.
Who we are throwing completely into the deep end this weekend for his first podcast with the World Supersport champion. So I'd like to welcome Cameron to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Cameron. Yeah, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm using a camera and it's just killing itself over it. So. We're just trying to bear with it. But yeah, and we have got, as you can probably tell by the title, we have got the 2021 World Supersport champion, Dominique Aegerter, on the podcast. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Mate, honestly, it is such a pleasure to have you on this podcast. You have no idea. Like, I remember when I first started watching the sport, I remember watching you riding back in Moto 2, and I always followed your racing and stuff. So to be able to speak to you like this is like, for me, it's like, yeah, bucket list ticked.
Yeah, it's a thrill. We got to be honest.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've seen you on quite a few podcasts actually. I've seen you on Michael Hill's one quite recently, and that was quite good. Then you've been on BT as well. BT's podcast, the American guy.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. BT he's fantastic. I don't think we'll be anywhere near his level. He is spectacular, but we can try.
Yeah, he's really good.
But yeah, so you're also actually our very first world champion on the podcast as well. So that is, for us, that's quite cool. But
yeah, that's definite bucket list stuff, isn't it? So yeah, congratulations first of all.
Yeah, congratulations to you. Congrats for obviously taking that title as a rookie as well. The Supersport Championship as a rookie, it's no easy feat.
Yeah, thank you, and of course also a happy New Year to you all.
Oh, happy New Year! Thank you.
Yeah, happy New Year. Appreciate that.
I forgot that. At least somebody's, you're on the ball over it. And obviously, you're also riding MotoE as well. Many will have seen your antics on track. We will get into the season finale a bit later on because I really want to ask you about that and obviously the dramatics of the whole situation. But we have a question we ask all our guests at the start of each podcast. It's quite a simple, basic podcast question just to kind of get maybe our listeners maybe a view into the world of Dominique Aegerter, and we ask you, what 5 songs are you currently listening to?
It's Friday night, so
yes,
there's a special song.
Okay,
but I don't know really the name of the song.
Okay. Oh, is it that it's Friday then? It's Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. It's Friday then.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't think anyone knows the name of that song. They just know the words.
It just comes on every so often in like a TikTok or in something or other. Yeah, what a banger. What about that banger? Was it Friday by Rebecca Black? You know that one? Absolute throwback.
Oh my God, Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But yeah, so are you listening to any tunes at the moment? What kind of music are you into, Dommy?
Yeah, I listen quite many songs, many music styles. It's always depending of the mood, but yeah, it's from rock to house to R&B, hip hop, little bit like hardcore, and yeah, all kinds of music.
Awesome. Have you got any favorite songs or?
Yeah, I have many favorite songs, but I cannot really tell you which one is it.
It's too embarrassing. That's what it is. Is it Barbie Girl by any chance? like absolute anthem of a song.
Do you know what? You play that in any club, it'll go off. So it's not that bad.
Oh yeah, like play that song in a club, man. Everything, the roof goes off the place,
Yeah.
But yeah, so what we'll do, we'll get into the podcast a bit more now. Got a few questions lined up. We've also asked our incredible followers on Instagram to input some questions for us as well, things that they want to know. So obviously I want to go right back to the start with you, right back to when you first actually began racing, because obviously Switzerland racing isn't like motorcycle racing. It's not a massive sport over there. It's not, you've got probably other sports that are more competitive and more kind of commonly well known. So what is it that actually got you into racing and made you, begin your career riding motorbike?
Yeah, like you say, we have in Switzerland no racetracks. The people like motorsport, but for sure Switzerland is not that big. Also, we have only like 4 or 5 months, maybe some nice sunshine. And yeah, I was lucky enough that my parents have a car and a motorbike shop. So with 3 years old, they give me a small sidecar and I drive around the house. And yeah, I like it. And then already with 5 years, they asked me, hey, if I want to make some motocross race. And yeah, then I did my first motocross race.
At such a young age, 5 years old. Did you start on the same bike everybody else rides, of the Yamaha PW50?
Exactly.
Yes, see. I think it's the bike everybody rides. So many riders. You go back to even Marc Marquez or John Hopkins. They all started on the Yamaha PW50.
Yeah, it's a perfect bike to start
at
young age. So your foot nearly can go down to the ground, and it's somehow softly to ride.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're like the little tiny things. I've never actually seen one in real life, to be honest, but they look absolutely minuscule anyway. I mean, from that first moment of obviously swinging your leg over the bike, did you feel that like click inside you? Because obviously you racers, you're like a different breed. Your passion for the sport and everything supersedes anything that we ever could imagine. The passion, the dedication you put into it. Did you feel that spark ignite the first time you sat on the bike and rode it?
Yeah, always when I jump on the bike, I had a lot of lucky hormones, or how you say, like a lot of adrenaline and happiness. And yeah, I never want to stop the bike. So just my mama came and say, hey, you need to stop. The neighbors, they get angry. And yeah, it was something like that. And yeah, on this age, I was just dreaming about to do this one time for my life, or to be a professional rider.
Yeah, I mean, when is it you realize that actually no, you could actually do this for your career and for your job and for your life? How old were you, and what made you actually realize that no, actually I could do this, full time kind of thing?
I think was around 12, 11, 12, 13 when I was starting to change from motocross to road racing. And on this age, I need to decide which way I want to go. And on this time, I was thinking, which way I should go and where I could make my career.
Yeah. Okay, and so from that point, you've realised that actually no, you could actually do this full time as a job, and instead of whatever you were possibly looking to do. So how does the racing how does that work with school? Do you have to, are you sat in the back of a motorhome writing, school questions as well whilst racing, or did you kind of do what a lot of riders do and just not kind of stop going to school kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, with this age, when I was 12, 13, I was already racing in German championship, so I needed to go out from school on Wednesday or Thursday, so I miss many classes, sometimes even on Monday. And the teacher gave me some homework to do, but normally I was doing this just 1 hour before I go to the school, because when I went with the camping car and my mother to Germany, let's say, I was already focusing on racing, and I didn't have any time to make my school things. But yeah, it works well, and I'm still racing.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clearly just it's paid off, hasn't it? To be, a world champion now.
Yeah, for sure, this paid off.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, looking through your career and stuff, you obviously got called up back in 2006 to make your debut in the World Championship. What was that like? The feeling the first time when you realized, you got that call and you were like, come and race in the 125cc World Championship. What was that feeling like when you realized that, you had made it, kind of thing?
Yeah, this was for sure a dream come true, because I was focusing to be in the World Championship and watch the races always on television every weekend. And then on 2006, when I get my first wild card in Estoril, Portugal, in 125, was crazy. I was in the paddock, see all the big names. Rossi was parking with his motorhome not far away from mine, and yeah, we had a very special weekend, and yeah, was just like a dream.
Yeah, I can imagine the feeling of seeing Valentino Rossi's motorhome over there, because that was 2006, so he was already a seven-time champion at that point. So you must have felt on top of the world.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was always looking out of the motorhome and waiting when Vale was coming back. And I tell to my mama, hey, when he is back, we need to make a photo. So for sure, I was not the only one on this time. And I remember I got one photo, just like 50 people is around, and I'm just maybe in the second row and looking to him, and I get the picture. So yeah, a very special photo and a special day for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. It's incredible to see the what he's done for the sport and push it to the new levels. And it's for me as a fan, it's quite cool to hear riders like yourself, who are world champions in your own right, still talk about Valentino Rossi in this manner of being for what he's done. For example, he's a legend.
Yeah, it's clearly for sure this last year a sad news that he will stop racing, but he will be always there, and he's the god of motorbike. So it's I think we can be very thankful what he give to our sport all.
Yeah, 100%. So the question is he the greatest of all time?
Yeah, we can say he's the greatest of all time, because nearly 20 years of racing, a nine world champion titles in all the classes, many wins, and yeah, he was still with 42 years old. He was one of the fastest guy in the world. I think he still is. Yeah, for sure there is coming some other names, some legends, but when we talk about motorsport, about motorbike, there is only Rossi that everybody knows.
Yeah, you're completely right. The amount of times I've spoken to somebody who doesn't really know the sport, they always know Valentino Rossi.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that, isn't it? It's the thing.
Yeah, it's spot on, really. And obviously, then you kind of made your way through the championships, and you spent a few years in the 45cc class with the IO squad, and then you made kind of a move into the Moto2 class in 2010, in its kind of first year, riding for the Suter chassis, which you actually raced for 5 years. So, obviously, when you raced for Suter, you had arguably some of your best years in Moto2 on the Moto2 on the Suter chassis. Your results speak for themselves with various victories, so many podiums, P5 in the championship multiple times, and in 2013, 2014, you did come home in P5 in the championship. Then for 2015, the team swapped to Kalex, and your results did drop quite significantly. So what was it about the change that made it so difficult to adapt, and where was it the Suter excelled against the Kalex?
Yeah, difficult question. No, I had very nice seasons with Suter, with the team Technomar Car Expert team, and
yeah,
then when the swap was coming from Suter to Kalex, for me was quite a big change, and I not get immediately fast with this bike. Sure, I get one podium also in 2015. I think my last podium even this was.
in Italy, Mugello.
Mugello, yeah. The other one was taking away again.
Yeah, I was sad that day. Honestly,
that broke my heart.
But yeah, I think just the chassis by himself, how the feeling I get, how my riding style fit to the chassis was not what maybe I needed 100%. But yeah, my season 13 and 14 was so strong that was also quite difficult to be much better, because I get 5 podiums in 2014 and many top 10 and top 5, but just not everything was going together. I think end of 15 I had also an accident then, with some injury, and this was making my life more hard to get the result.
Yeah, because that was when Iker Corona made his World Championship debut at 16 years old. That was obviously when you did get injured, and you chose unless I'm getting the years wrong, but then you chose Josh Hook as well, didn't you? I believe, if I remember rightly, you spoke to Josh Hook and obviously put him forward for the team to replace you. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we was good friends because we meet us in Suzuka for the 8 hours. And he was my teammate there, and I tried to help him to get in the Moto2 class.
Yeah, great gesture.
I do have a question about going back to the Suter. Did like the Swiss connection of with the chassis being Swiss, etc., and yourself, did that help you ride like to tailor with what you wanted compared to the Kalex?
For sure it helps, because they always wanted to have the Swiss rider on top as a manufacturer from Switzerland. So sure, I get always some special support from them. And also in the end, there was not so many Suter rider anymore. So they try also to modify the chassis, my direction and my riding style. So for sure, this was helping a lot.
Okay, cool. I always wondered.
Yeah, because it was you, Thomas Luthi, and Robin Mulhauser, wasn't it, who all raced the Suters in the obviously the Technomag squad back in the days, and obviously keeping on the lines of the difference between the Suter and the Kalex. Obviously, you're massively experienced in Moto2. You spent a decade in the class, obviously making some appearances in 2020. You've ridden nearly every available chassis in the series, including obviously the Suter, the Kalex, the KTM, the MV Augusta, and even the NTS. What is it about each chassis that makes them so different to one another, or are they quite similar? And when you've got two riders on the same chassis, for example, say you and Thomas Luthi when you were in the same team, how can a team look to seek out an advantage over one another using the same chassis?
Yeah, it's a privilege to ride so many different chassis.
Yeah.
For sure, all of them have their how you say, their positive and negatives.
Yeah.
Um, what I can say for sure, it's the Kalex, Suter, and KTM. They are the chassis that are the most development, and they are very similar from when you get a good feeling and a good setup for your riding style, you can be very fast. And in the other side, NTS and MV Augusta was MV Augusta was a complete new chassis, and NTS they had some years already experience. But the problem is in this class, if you cannot develop and ride with many riders that give you the information that you can go in one direction, you cannot really make the chassis work for these small tenths or thousands what you need in Moto 2. So yeah, some chassis was strong on the brake, the other one more with the grip, or there is also some aerodynamics, the weight, or the cooling system and stuff like this. There is all small details in Moto 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, what you speak about for the teammate when two rider ride the same bike, or what was your question exactly?
Yeah, sorry, it's quite a long question, so sorry about that. So yeah, what is it about? No, so that's the. I can't read apparently.
We knew that.
Yeah, we know that already. So when you've got two riders on the same chassis, for example, two riders on the Suter, for example, you and Thomas Luthi, how can a team look to seek out an advantage over for one rider over another rider on the same chassis?
Yeah, it's all riders have their own riding style a little bit, and then in the winter test, when you ride the bike, you find out which direction you need to go with the setting. And yeah, when you get a rider like Lutti or yeah, some rider, they have just different styles than you. Me, I was more the heartbreaker, a little bit stop and go, but Lutti was more the softer breaker, more floating through the corner, more smooth. And then the settings of the bikes is quite different, so it's quite difficult to really make a similar setup to be same fast. But only what can help if the teammate is fast, for sure it's always the goal to be faster than your teammate. The first goal.
Yeah,
and
100%.
and then also on the weekend you can check the data, so you can see what he makes different in which corner, if he have different gear or different gearing, maybe sometimes also the how you say, the tire, when we have two different tires in Moto 2. Yeah, but the other thing for sure we always talk about, and also the crew chiefs, they talk which direction they go, but most of the time each rider have their own favorite settings.
Perfect. It's interesting because I obviously with the different riding styles and stuff, you expect it to be, to make the difference with one rider to another. So I guess obviously some riders are just more suited to a different chassis, like you've said, obviously with the Suter and the KLX and how different they are. And yeah, it's interesting to see that riders some riders may flourish on some chassis and not on another, especially when you've got two completely different riders in the same team with different styles, like you've mentioned. So yeah, and obviously you've got your countrymen as well in the same squad in that Swiss team.
Yeah, how did you find the transition from the 600s to the 765? Because obviously you rode the NTS with the 765 engine, but you rode the Honda 600 Moto2s for years. How was it a bigger shock as you thought it'd be?
Was nice because I was riding nearly 10 years, no, maybe 8 or 9 years on the 600 Honda engine, 4-cylinder, and the times went every year a little bit faster, but the engine was always same fast. So this was a little bit, a little bit disappointed that they don't make it a little bit more fast. And then when the 765 Triumph 3-cylinder engine was coming, you could feel immediately that there is a little bit more power, also a little bit more torque. So was slightly different riding. And yeah, for sure, for a rider to jump on a bike and you can feel to have more power, it's always nice because a rider expect always some more power.
Yeah, because obviously with the 765 seems like you've got more line choice, line freedom compared to like the Honda where you've just had to take a single line and hope you nailed it almost.
Yeah, in Moto 2 the the lines is so small. Yeah, if you miss 1 meter in the apex or in the entry or exit, then you just lose slightly, and doesn't matter if you make this with the 600 or with the Triumph. The times is too small, and when you make a small mistakes on line, it will count on the finish line. So there is no place to make any small mistakes or offline. You lose with both engine too much in Moto2 because all the bikes or riders, they are so strong that you are just then some place behind.
Yeah, makes sense because obviously control class. Yeah.
It's actually like ridiculous how close together Moto2 is these days. What is it? Like the amount of times I've seen this year, I think 25 riders within a second of one another. And it's terrifying. Is it daunting, for example, for a rider like you to be on track with riders knowing how, small the limits are, or how, like one tiny mistake can literally be the difference between maybe 12th place and 23rd? Is that a bit daunting for you, or do you just kind of, it's just part of the job?
No, it was very hard to swallow this result sometimes because you give your 100% or 110%, you push all full on the limit, full risk, and you are under a second, but sometimes you are out of 20. So this was so difficult for the mental side. And when you think you can go just 1 or 2 tenths faster and you are maybe in top 15 or top 10 even. And this was very hard to get. And the last years in Moto2 was like this.
So based on that of what you've just said, do you prefer racing MotoE and World Supersport because it's maybe a bit more spread about, or do you still prefer kind of Moto2?
No, I was sure liking to ride more in Moto2, but I didn't get the chance to go in a top team with a top bike. Sure, I had many years to show, but in the last few years there was some other mistakes by injury or changing team or sponsor and stuff like this was not making me easier to get the result. So this is why I was get kicked off a little bit from the Moto2 class, and the only chance I get was in the MotoE.
Yeah.
So I take this,
Yeah.
and I was trying to show my potential last year or 2 years ago in MotoE to be able to be back in Moto2, but with all this COVID situation was not that easy. And then last year I could do 2 classes with the Supersport that I could race a little bit more weekends than only 7 events. So this was a perfect choice I did.
Yeah, absolutely. I think genuinely with the combining Supersport and MotoE is, it's been actually a fantastic decision for you because, you very nearly managed to win 2 titles in the same season. Going on to that, actually, I'll go forward to one of my questions. What is actually the most difficult thing about competing in 2 categories in the same season? Because obviously you had to miss Catalonia in World Superbikes this year because of the clash with, I believe it was Misano. Did this make you worry a little bit about your Supersport title? If your rival, say Stephen Odendahl, could etch out, say, 2 victories, did it make you worry, or were you just calm and collected about the whole thing?
Yeah, for sure. First, I want to say thanks to both of the teams from the Intact team and Tenkate, because it's not normal also that they let the rider ride in a different team in a different class. So this was the first thing we needed to get, and then for sure also with all the manufacture with all the supplier. If it's helmet, leather suite, boots, and all the sponsors, we need to fix for 2 categories. So this was for sure a big job in the winter time. And the bike swapping was quite easy for me, because the Moto e-bike is a complete different bike, and we was knowing that maybe we will have a clash, but the priority have MotoE. So my goal was just in Supersport to be as good as possible to get as many points in advance, and I did it. I think when I was going to Misano, I had 62 points in advance when they was riding in Barcelona Supersport.
Yeah, you because I remember watching the races obviously leading up to it, and commentators were saying, you were basically just pushing to try and get that gap as high as you could, and you got quite, I don't want to say fortunate because, Mason, you do make your own luck, but you got quite, Stephen really didn't have a great weekend in Catalonia, and it must have been a massive sigh of relief for you when when you're sat in Misano wishing you could be, 2 places at once. It must have been quite relieving to know that actually, your leader's pretty safe even after the whole Barcelona race weekend.
Yeah, this was for sure. Already I was quite relaxed when I go to Misano, because when you have 62 points advance, that when he win 2 times, you're going to the next race still with 12 points in front. And of course I was close looking the races, and a small smile I had on my face when I see that he did not get as many points that I was expecting.
Yeah, I can imagine. I bet you slept well. Well, I was going to say, I bet you slept well that night, but after the whole MotoE thing, which I will ask about now, I don't think you did. So obviously, anybody who doesn't know and doesn't watch MotoE, the race at Misano, the MotoE title, came basically down to the last race with Jordi Torres racing against, obviously, Domi for the MotoE title. And it came down to the penultimate order when both the riders collided on track. I'm trying to pick my words nicely here. I don't want to disrespect anyone. You came together on track, and Jordi Torres went down, and you basically finished the race, and you were the MotoE champion. As time went on, and the people viewed the footage, and social media warriors went out with their pitchforks for you, and Geordie obviously was, quite emotional as well in pit lane. As time went on, you then were stripped of the title and lost the title. What are your thoughts on the incident and then the consequences of the incident as well?
Yeah. So all that don't watch MotoE, they should watch, because for sure it's fun, because
It's amazing.
only between 5 and 7 laps race, so it's always all in and big fights. I was knowing that I can win the title when I finish first and Torres finish third or behind. So I saw him, he's first, I was second. I was overtake him a few times to at least win the race, but he always overtake me back. So I was coming the last lap. We was again battling. 3 corners before the end, I again attack him on the brakes. For sure, a hard and a hard move. He was touched my rear wheel. He fell down, and I finished the race at first, and I had for 10 minutes the champion feeling in me, making some wheelies, some burnouts, celebrating with the team. And then was coming the decision that I get the penalty, and the penalty was 38 seconds. That put me back to the 12th place. So I was not finishing first in the championship. We was trying to speak with the stewards to make a protest to change the how you say the
result.
The result. But there was no chance, and was a little bit disappointed, or quite a lot of bit disappointed, because I think the penalty they give me is much too high, because when you was watching some weeks later, Gardner was making a similar move. One rider crashed down, and he was getting a long lap penalty. And the long lap penalty, it's normally 3 seconds. And with 3 second penalty, I would still win the championship. But they just didn't want that I win the champion.
Yeah, it sparked a lot of the. It doesn't help that Geordie's Spanish.
Oh no! Don't say that.
No, but it sparked a lot of debate. The whole Spanish mafia thing that got drilled in everywhere. But you make a good point. Actually, a really good point about obviously Remy Gardner and only getting maybe like a 3 second penalty when you got 38, and it goes into back to the point of, because a lot of people complain about the inconsistencies that we see. I don't expect you to comment on that, because I don't want to get you in trouble there. But there is a lot of inconsistencies that we do see around incidents that happen from one rider to the next. From obviously losing that title, did that gain you a lot of motivation to then push into World Supersport and make sure you take at least one of the 2 titles?
Yeah, sure. The motivation was so high, and the hungry inside me was quite big to really show that I'm the best rider in the world or in Supersport. And sure, to take this title home was even a bigger celebration than maybe take the MotoE title.
Yeah, because it's an FIM world title. I have a medal.
I have a question about MotoE though. Did you at any point expect to keep the title, or did you know because you'd made contact that it was possible that it'd be taken away from you?
No, for me it was clear that I win the championship, because when you watch the race and also think Torres need only to finish second and he would be champion, but he was playing with me to win the race, but was not necessary. So he was fighting with me to win the race, and in the end he pushed too much. Also, he was not opening too much the door, so he was crashing down. And yeah, I think also in the video you could see that he was really sad. He was crying, and he was thinking that he make also the mistake to really fight with me. And yeah, then when the stewards say we get the penalty, I was still thinking, no, that's not possible. We need to make a protest, and I think we can still win keep the title. But yeah, was not possible.
What was their reasoning for 38 seconds? That just seems so like arbitrary to me. Is that like pit lane time, or
yeah?
Like...
It's apparently it was the amount of time it would take you to get through the pit lane.
Right.
Yes, exactly. They say the pit lane time was 38 seconds, but the crazy things what they said was that if this race would be in another time in the start of the season or middle of the season, the penalty would be not the same. So
what?
they absolutely
They actually said that.
want,
Okay.
Yeah, they don't want that the race can be decided by crash out one other rider or the championship.
Oh my
That's
god,
mental. That just goes way back into my previous point about the consistency of these penalties, isn't it?
Yeah.
Flippin' heck, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, for the firstly, yes, people should definitely be watching MotoE because it is some absolutely outstanding racing. I make sure to tune into every race because it is just, like you said, amazing. When you first obviously rode the MotoE bike, what were you expecting, and what did you feel was, exactly as you expected, and what did you come away going, damn, I didn't expect it to be like that?
Yeah, sure, I was missing the gear shift, the clutch, the sound, the vibration, but the crazy thing was that the bike was really like a normal bike, so you can lay down a lot. You have a lot of lean angle with this bike, a lot of corner speed, and in the slower corner you have a lot of torque. But in the faster corner you need to open the gas already before the apex, again full gas. So this was changing the the mental side a little bit and the riding style of the bike. And then you could really feel the weight of the bike when you are braking, because the bike is 270 kilo, and the Supersport bike or the Moto2 bike is around 140, 160 kilo. So you can feel this 100 kilo or even more when you are braking, especially.
Yeah, I can imagine you do. I mean, when obviously going from riding, say, a Supersport to a MotoE throughout the season, do you find that quite difficult, or is it just a very easy transition? After maybe the first lap, you're back to being, you know what you're doing, kind of thing.
For sure, for me, it was much more easy to jump on the Supersport bike because the bike is much more familiar to all the bikes I rode, and also the time you have to get again used to the bike in Supersport is much more long, or much more. It's longer because you have 2 times 45 minutes on Friday, and you can make 8 laps, make a small stop in the box, again 8 laps. But with the MotoE bike, you start on Friday, you have 6 laps, and then it's finished. And in these 6 laps, you need to be already the fastest. And because in the afternoon, maybe 5, 6, 7 hours later, you have again 6 laps. And in the next day, you have 1 qualifying lap, and on Sunday, the race. And yeah, on the MotoE bike, it's still a little bit different, the riding, compared to all other bikes because of the electric engine. And yeah, this was making me a little bit more difficulties to really be from the first lap on fast.
Yeah, no, I can imagine, especially such a little seat time as well, to then have to push it, because there's like so little rounds as well. I guess that most of you then it means you're in the same seat, because a lot of riders obviously will double team, say MotoE with say a Supersport class, or they'll race, I don't know, the the Chev class like Fermin Aldeguer did, or even like sometimes just World Championships, so it is, to have such little seat time is must be quite difficult sometimes.
Yeah, you cannot really imagine, because for sure, for me, it's very good to have all the experience of the bikes, of different bikes, but also of the racetracks. Because if you don't know the racetrack and you come there for the first time, you nearly have no chance to get to the speed in these few laps you can do on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I want to ask a question then. This is a question actually that I've been dying to know for a long time, and actually I want you to set the record straight with me as well, because I might be wrong when I ask this.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
We're gonna reel back the years a bit to 2016. I think you already know what's coming. Obviously, you raced for the Swiss team for quite a long time. You had a great relationship with them, and with 4 rounds to go, I'm going to use the word fired, but if it's wrong, then please correct me. But from what I have been told, the team obviously fired you with 4 rounds left to go after you had confirmed to them that you were leaving the team to race for the Kiefer squad for next year. Mm-hmm. Are you able to shed any light into actually what happened, like the facts of what happened that day?
Yeah,
that year.
Crazy stuff happened there.
Yeah.
Because we was first nearly signing the contract to continue with the Swiss team, but on the contract was different things that we spoke about. So in 2017, I would like to go back to the Sutter bike and also have some different mechanics and crew chief. But then in the contract, this was not like we was spoken about. And then they say, if you want to ride with us, we need to sign the contract like it is now. And I say, no, I cannot. So I was searching for a new team. And I get the chance to ride in the Kiefer team. And I was signing with them. And when they find out, or when it was official, they fired me for the last 4 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely mental situation, to be fair. That they could just fire you like that, and with only, like you said, 4 rounds to go, it doesn't make sense, especially when a lot of your personal sponsors were on the side of the bike as well.
This is crazy. I think this never happened in sport, because there is a lot of changing the teams or riders, that they change end of the season, or even middle of the season, or start of the season already. And that this could happen, I could not believe.
Did they ever explain why, or did they just say you're out? Wait, as much as you can say.
No, they just say I'm out. I think they wanted to give the chance to Lecuona to already make some preparation for 2017, because they was also speaking already on this time with him. So I think just this I really never find out exactly why.
That seems a little unfair, I gotta be honest.
It was strange, because I do remember, obviously, the Lecuona was only 16 at the time, doing quite well in the film Chev for the team, because they were on like a team for him in the squad. So I could see that side, but it didn't benefit the team a lot, because you saw over the years the team's now evolved obviously into the American racing team after it was sold. to Eton at American Racing, but the team never really, when they got rid of you, the team never really kind of reached the heights of what they had previously after that. Thomas Luffy going in and obviously doing what he did, nearly winning multiple Moto2 championships on the squad. It's it's strange to see such a, what you look from the outside in, such a strong, great team for that to happen. Yeah, it was bizarre.
Yeah, I think I was saw this a little bit coming because the people around was maybe not looking the same way that we was looking for in 2014 and 15, something like this. And then later on the sponsor went away, and I think I was saw this also coming. So this is why I was also changing the team then.
Yeah, understandable completely. Cameron, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple that are just a little bit more lighthearted. Maybe not quite as techie or anything that you'll really have to think about too hard. Is there anything? Are there any like little things that you miss during the off season and stuff? Are there anything that you miss about the paddock or whatever? Just when you're sitting at home and you're like, oh man, there's just little things that make you like can't wait to be back.
Oh yes, a lot of things, because I love racing. I love to see both of my teams. Also the paddock, I have a lot of friends there. If it's from the past years, for sure the World Superbike paddock, it's new, but I think I'm quite an open person, so I make also already some good friends there.
Yeah.
And just the racing. I think I'm a racing boy, so to compete, to see who is better, this is what I love most, and it's in this time what I miss most.
Cool. That's nice. Okay. Nice.
Of course, all the tension what you have on the weekend.
Yeah.
This is nice, and this is what I miss a little bit. And now I'm in Switzerland, and for sure when we are racing, it's most of the time plus 10 or plus 15. So I miss for sure also the hot and the sun.
Yeah, fair enough. I know how you feel. I'm up in Scotland, and cool. Thanks. And then I also, another thing I wanted to know, I guess, you might not even know the answer to this, to be honest, but what do you think you would be doing if you weren't doing this?
What, the podcast now? You'd probably be doing much better things than this.
No. I mean, like, if you weren't doing, if you weren't racing, if that wasn't your career. Yeah. Like, what do you think you'd be doing?
When I was finished my school in Switzerland, you start to work, and I was making my work as a motorbike mechanic. So I think when I would be not motorbike racer, I would be a mechanic.
Fair. But, nice.
This sounds a little bit strange, but all my life I raced, so I cannot think what I would do if I not
not something like shoe repairs or something like that. It's just fair.
No, but I think I have some fuel in my body, and everything what is with engine, I just love it.
Awesome.
Good shout. That's a good answer, that is.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Obviously, with you being from Switzerland, etc., and obviously not that many people coming through, who do you see as the big Swiss talents to look out for in the future?
Yeah, this is a very difficult point. Also, for sure, a sad year last year for the Swiss motor bikes, that we lost Jason Dubaskia. He was the new hero here in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say in the start, we have no racetracks. We have a long time winter and bad weather. So it doesn't make it easy to young talents to come up to German championship, Spanish championship. Yeah, also maybe the money we have in some companies to support, but they don't support the motorsport as much as maybe ice hockey or football or something like this. So it will be in my future plans to help to support the young kids a little bit to get on the road to motorsport racing. But now there is only a few riders that they really can step up to maybe to world championship, but until now it's quite difficult to see or to help them. Yeah,
That's fair enough.
Understandable.
If you had to pick out a couple of the future Swiss talents who you would say look out for those, who would you pick?
Sorry?
If you had to pick out some of the Swiss talents, say like, some of the Swiss riders who you had to name to say, look out for these are going places, who would you name?
We have Noah Detwiller. He's riding in the Spanish Championship and in the Red Bull Rookies Cup for sure. I think he can get up to MotoGP or 125. No, sorry, Moto3. And then we have Dotti. There is two brothers that they are riding in IDM in the German Championship. Yeah, that is it. For sure, some small talents is around, but I cannot really tell which names are possible to really step up to the World Championship.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I know why Jacob's asking that, because he's friendly with a Swiss rider called Kilian Nestola. Have you heard of him?
No.
Now, he's racing in the... It's like, obviously, the FIM-CV Moto2 series has like a super stock class in there.
Okay.
He'll race in that this year, I think, for the...
for FO 55, Hector Faubel squad.
Hector Faubel's squad.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for him.
Okay, I will check around, yeah.
Yeah. So he's good. Question about your racing career, obviously, over the whole... Because obviously you've had quite a long racing career. Do you actually have any regrets in your career? Is there anything you'd go back, if you could, in a time machine and do differently? Or do you feel that, everything you've done previously has made you into the rider you are today?
Yeah, of course, if I can go back with the same experience that I have now, I would do some different things, some different races.
Yeah.
But I think I had until now a very progressive career, some up and downs. Like many different experience with different teams, different chassis. I worked with a lot of different manufacturer of the bikes, of the all the kind of stuff like this, and also different crew chiefs. So I think I get a lot of experience, and I think I did always my best. I pushed always very hard, maybe sometimes too hard. But I think if I would look back, I think I did my best I could do in these moments, and
no regret.
Yeah, not it doesn't come one in my mind just now.
Good. That's what you want to hear.
I do have one question about MotoGP, and obviously you never made the step, but you tested various machines. How come MotoGP move never came about? What was like the stumbling block? Like what prevented you from actually making the step up?
Yeah, this is a big dream that was always in my mind. It's still in my mind to ride MotoGP, but I was testing I think 3 times the MotoGP bike, and was impressive how much power they have, how the electronic works, the carbon brakes, and yeah, I don't know why they never took me to MotoGP, because there is some other riders, they never get this result what I get. But it's maybe similar that this year I would like to jump up to Superbike, but nobody wants me. So I just can show what I do to make good results, and then it's not only in my hands to get a ride in a different class or in a higher class. So yeah, I don't know if it's my age. Maybe now I'm 31, or if it's my nationality from Switzerland. Maybe the market is not so big for few teams or a few manufacturers. So I think this is why they didn't took me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I'm quite sad that you didn't get a Superbike seat, because I think myself and many other people all were expecting you to move up to a Superbike team for this year. Yeah, I keep forgetting what year we're in. Like him, like myself, you're a Supersport champion. The next thing is to move up to a class, and I don't know obviously what brand you would have wanted to ride. The Yamaha seems to be the favourite one, with obviously them absolutely just winning every class this year, pretty much. And a few riders really did actually not get a seat. Like British Superbike champion Taron McKenzie didn't get a Superbike seat either, when really you and Taron should deservedly have a seat from your achievements this year. And obviously you are now going back into Supersport this year. Do you feel that, you can do the title again, maybe take the title again, and then maybe try again for a Superbike seat? Or are you going to try and go for Keenan Sofoglu's 5 title record?
No, for sure. My target is to go up to Superbike, because I like to ride bikes with a lot of power, with more heavy weights. I think I show also my potential in the 8 hours of Suzuka, that I can ride a heavier bike. And yeah, for sure, my goal is to defend the title this year. But with all the new regulation coming in Supersport, with Ducati, Triumph, Emi Augusta, who is coming with more cubic, with different engines. So I don't know exactly how it will work. So my goal is just to be the best Yamaha and Kawasaki rider, and try to win again some races.
yeah, you've mentioned the rule changes. What's your opinion on those? Do you think there's going to be a runaway Ducati more than anything? Because obviously they've got like near enough double the CC of the bikes, even though it's a twin. Can you see any equality, or do you think Yamahas have got a bit of a raw deal?
It's very difficult to say something about, because I don't know how fast the Ducati will be, the Triumph, or also even the Emi Augusta with this 800 Emi Augusta. The Ducati is 955 2-cylinder, and the Triumph will be 765.
Yep,
I think something like that. So really, I don't know how they will fix the problems. I think they will make some weights on the bike, some RPM drop if the bike will be too fast, something like that, so they can get some equality inside the class. and I hope we can find out this very soon to see how strong they are and how we can beat them.
Yeah. I could be wrong here. I might be wrong, but I think I read something about the Ducati being capped at like 11,200 rev. I could be completely wrong
No,
there.
You're right.
But yeah, I think there's some engine caps. But if it's worth anything, I was speaking to Simon Jesperson, who I think you know quite well because he got to ride your bike, and he said that after looking at your data, the things you can do on a motorbike were like unbelievable, and there was no chance in hell he could do anything like it. So I think you might have it in the bag this year.
Yeah, this was also quite fun. I meet him in the winter by training in Spain in Supermotard, so he helped me out there a little bit because I was always alone on my training. So I pushed him, or I pushed the team to get him inside the team in Barcelona, and like you say, he was a little bit surprised how late I can brake and stuff like this, because you can see two completely different riding style, and he was not really fitting well to my setup, and this is why maybe he was not so fast than in Navarra, for example.
Yeah, because he was battling with you at the Nevada, wasn't he? He was right up the front. It shocked everybody, to be fair. I think even the commentators were like, "Who's this kid?" Yeah. As well, on the topic of your riding style, you've got a peculiar riding style with a whole head tilt. What's that about?
Many people laugh about my riding style or about my head style, but somehow I feel well. I feel the speed. I see where I need to go, and I can go fast like this. So this is all what we need to do, no?
Yeah, I mean it's unique, and it makes you you. I mean, obviously, you can tell who you are with a massive flag on your helmet, but every time you see like your head, you're like, "That's Dommy, that's Dommy."
Yeah. Even in a black helmet, you'd be able to tell who it was straight away.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to pull up some questions from Instagram. I've asked Instagram, and there are hundreds, so I'm not going to go through them all because it would be here for like 10 hours. But I'll pick out some of the best ones about them. And you've got a lot of Swiss fans, may I say? Flipping heck. I've just read Simon Jesperson's one, who says, word for word, how does he go so fucking fast on the R6? But I got a question from Bruno Kiss 77, good Instagram out there, who said, how did number 77 become your number? I'm a big fan of you because I also use 77. Wishing you luck.
Oh, thank you. I wish you also luck. I take the 77 because my father gave me the 7 when I was riding motocross, because his favorite rider was Barry Sheene. So I was riding until I get to the German championship, and the 7 was already given. So I take the 77, and since there, this is my number. Yeah.
Nice. You've got taken bearing resemblance to Barry Baltus in Moto 2 because he uses 7 for Barry Sheene as well. So
okay,
there's a bit of a that's cool. I like that. Got a question from, I'm going to butcher this one, Gert Jan Vorstock, who says, in what way has the 10K team, who obviously are world champions multiple times, how have they improved you as a racer and as a person?
The name sounds Dutch.
Yes,
so
it does.
He for sure is a 10K fan.
Yeah.
I think Tenkate is one of the best team. Of course, they win now 11 titles. The Dutch people, they are very similar to the Swiss people from the working style, and I think the people who works there, they keep me always calm. This is for sure some very good points. I had a lot of trust They show a lot of respect and a lot of work, how they work, but in the other part they can be also fun. So they make all the life this year much more easier for me, and I think we fit very well together. So this is why we could show also a fantastic season and with such great result.
Yeah, fantastic. Right, we've got quite a few good questions. This is actually a question we were going to ask you, and then we didn't because we're stupid. So somebody else has asked it for us. That's great. Back in 2015, you got some time testing the Kawasaki, obviously the Kira Kawasaki MotoGP prototype. Why did you ride it, and how was it? And was there anything Kawasaki were looking to enter MotoGP, or was it just kind of purely for testing development purposes?
On this time, Akira wanted to join again the MotoGP paddock to come back. And yeah, of course, if you can get a test on a MotoGP bike, I think you cannot say no.
Yep.
That doesn't matter which bike is it, because it's a lot of fun, a lot of power, and yeah, I was also happy enough or lucky enough that my team say yes, I can do this test for Kawasaki, and yeah, it was just amazing to ride in Barcelona with 335 on the straight, with Lorenzo, with Rossi, with all this kind of people on the track. Was just a day I will never forget. Yeah,
I can imagine it is genuinely just like a. To say not many people in this world can say they've ridden with, Valentino Rossi, Jorge Lorenzo on track like that. That is wow.
Sorry, just to expand on that quickly. Was it more similar to a prototype or a superbike that was modified?
No, was a prototype.
In terms of feel, did it feel like a pure prototype bike?
Yeah, was really a really prototype bike. Maybe the engine was something like a super bike, but yeah, I think there on a MotoGP bike or a super bike with 240 250 horsepower, you have so much power to handle on the track. So I think you have already more than enough power.
Fair enough.
Yeah, good question. Right, so going back through the questions, we've got a question from Moto2 rookie this year, Sean Dillon Kelly, who's racing for the American racing team. He says, have you got any tips on how to be fast in Moto2?
Oof. Yeah. Any tips? Sure, it start now in the winter already to prepare you physically and mentally very, very good, because the season will be long, physically and mentally. And if you are on top there, it helps you during the weekend. But it's many. It's so many things that I could give you tips to ride fast. But yeah, Moto2 is a class that it's so difficult. But yeah, it's just give your best, focus on your riding, focus with your team on your stuff, on your side, and keep cool and enjoy riding.
I'd have thought it would just be brake later and accelerate earlier.
Yeah, this is what the most people say when you are only second place or 10th place.
Yeah. I've got one from Terry with 2i 64_ who says, what is your priority this year, to defend the Supersport title or win the MotoE title?
Both. It's my priority. No, I'm lucky enough that until now the calendar is like that we don't have any clash on MotoE or Supersport, so I can make every race this year. Will be 40 races for me, so a long season, a hard season. But this year the priority have Supersport. So when something happen, if they change any dates, Supersport will have the priority, and then MotoE.
Good, I think.
Sounds good, yeah. Right, so I'm just trying to get some more questions because there's quite a lot, so I'm just going to go through. I didn't know this happened, actually, so this is quite cool. Got a question from _Brookie, who said, what was it like working with Alex Hoffman as your riding coach, and are you still in contact?
Yeah, I was working with him in 2013 or 14. I don't remember exactly. Already some years ago. But yeah, it was for sure also one experience that I take in my career to work with a ex-MotoGP rider, to get some tips from him to ride the Moto2 bike faster. And yeah, I take for sure all the advantage of him, all the experience, and yeah, it helps me to be there, to be this person who I'm now.
Amazing. Right, I'll ask you one more question because I'm fully aware that we've had you for a long time and I really don't want to eat too much into your evening, and I do apologise.
Can I ask one more?
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just very curious. Say now, in an ideal world, you could move up to MotoGP with anyone. Who would you pick?
Ooh.
He's thinking.
I know it's difficult.
No, I think I think Yamaha would be the bike that my riding style would fit very well, but
Yep.
I think for a rider to have a fast bike like Ducati is, it's also very nice. But I don't know if my riding style would fix into the Ducati one. But yeah, maybe when the dream came true, maybe the Yamaha have some more power, so I would choose Yamaha.
No,
Fair
good
enough.
choice. Right, like I've said, last question. Thanks, Jacob. From Andref Garcia, who says, who is the toughest rider that you've ever raced against?
Ooh.
You're asking the difficult questions here.
difficult question because
Because you like to be the tough rider.
I fight with different people normally, but I think with Mika Kallio I had many great battles in from when he was coming back from MotoGP to Moto2. We was similar fast, and we battled many weekends together, and we had many great fair battles. So I think this was one of the hardest battles. But for sure, like I say, I could say every weekend I have a different rider that it's difficult to battle with it.
Yeah, 100%. I can imagine. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up now because we've been talking for a long time. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Tommy. I really appreciate it. Really great to have you on. Like I said, I've watched your career for a long time and have idolized you myself for a while. And yeah, it's really great to have you on. Do you want to plug anything, promote any sponsors on the podcast whilst you got a minute?
No, just thank you for listening. And if you want to have some more news, you can follow me on my social, if it's Instagram or Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Snapchat.
Oh wow! I've got your Snapchat. Yeah, got you everywhere, man. Amazing. Well, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Hopefully, Cameron hasn't struggled too much back there.
No, man. I've just been enjoying
what a way to
listening.
start.
It's been a real privilege. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the
No
word I
problem.
use. It's been excellent.
Yeah, you are our first world champion, so I do appreciate that.
Good.
But yeah, thank you for listening to the podcast, and we'll be back next time. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, mate.